Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As some of you guys have heard, first off, we need a haircut, so we'll deploy the haircut masker. Just posted on Instagram a little bit ago. We are going to the Ultimate Callout Challenge. We got invited originally in February. We had a wedding to go to, and I wasn't quite sure. Then I tore up my shoulder, and I was like, we'll stay this one out. Then my shoulder started to heal. Talked it over with the wife. I'm not going to say she was thrilled, but she understood how important this was to me. So huge thank you to her for always supporting me, even when it's not convenient. So we're going to take the 05 to UCC. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means a couple of things. Number one, all the testing we've been doing on the truck, I'm glad we did. I've left a lot of it off camera, and I will slowly start to show you guys what we were doing. The main reason is not to hide it or anything like that. A lot of people don't understand the process and the tuning, how many revisions it got just to get it to start and then to get it to run right. And then on the dyno, all the learning and stuff, it's hard to be engaged in what I'm doing and film it. It's also hard to show how much you struggle, because I don't want it to reflect poorly on the companies that are helping. So I kind of made the best judgment call to not only make sure the truck runs as best as it could, but also to make sure that everyone on board is getting a fair shake on how we represent them on the channel. A lot of these companies have been with me before YouTube, before I was big on social media and stuff. So as a respect to them, I left out some of the nitty-gritty stuff. Hopefully you guys can appreciate that. If you can't, then I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to go into. So what this means, we're going to compound that. Other than that, the engine's going to stay the same. We did some lightening up. We did some wiring changes, stuff like that. We're going to be converting it to the 849 ECM. Lenny over at DDP was kind enough to sell me his 3,000 horsepower HX82 from Jeb. That will be our atmospheric charger. We did get the seats done, what you guys saw. We have our roll cage now certified, so we could go 850. And we're not gonna totally destroy the street truckness. The dash will stay. We're gonna pull all the panels off, the carpet out, the seats out for UCC to make it as light as possible, but we're not going to like gut it and make it. I want to be able to reverse it if I want to. Tonight we're working on the bed. It is hard to film and do this, so there are 6 bed bolts on a short bed. You have the one on the hitch, one about a foot back, and then you have the one up front. You have the ground that goes from the cab to the bed. You got to take your taillights out, fish the harness down through here on both sides, and then under here you got to unclip the harness from the bed support, and then we had to get rid of our tranny lines, stuff like that. But we are, I think, completely disconnected. We had to feed the battery lines and nitrous lines that ran through. We had to get those out of the way. But I think we're ready. Oh, the fifth wheel or gooseneck electrical hookup. But I think we're ready to take this bed off. Now, I don't have anybody here to help me right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is ratchet strap it from probably down there and just do a crisscross, pick it up from the center with an engine crane and get it moved out of the way. But yeah, guys, I am so excited to be able to go to UCC. We've qualified, tried to qualify twice. I did terrible both times. I'm hoping this year with all the prep, just the races are won here in the shop. They're not won out there. So I'm hoping with all the effort and crunching we've been doing, it pays off. And if it doesn't, I can at least say I gave it a fair try, check it off the list, and move on with life. But either way, I wanted one shot at the big show, and that's going to be this year. We got the truck, we got the trailer, we got this truck, we got an engine, a transmission combination, everything we possibly can to guarantee the best outcome possible. I'm not going to say no expense spared, because there was a budget, but we did spend some money. We got other upgrades coming, like Viking shocks for the front corners and the rear. We got a Fire Punk shock kit for the back, to mount the shocks horizontal on the back of the axle for the Vikings. We got our fuel cell, more nitrous stuff, and then we got some plumbing, our I had to get racing shoes, guys. I mean, look at how fancy these things are. Like, I'm not trying to turn this into a freaking autobiography, but like, god dang, dude, got everything. We want no excuses. Some other really exciting content I'm gonna try if they let me. We're going to Frank Crawley or Hockley's drag racing school down in Tucson in April. Me, Will, and Maya are going, so hopefully I can get some of that for you guys and kind of share that experience with you. I'm excited. Maya's freaking pumped, and so is Will, so it should be a good weekend. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this bed lifted off. I'm gonna get you guys set up on the tripod. So we enlisted the forklift.
You may need to lift up the front, but that's about it.
Go up. All right, guys, so we got the bed off without a hitch. So here's what we got to do. We got to get all the shocks cut off. But I don't want to commit to these shocks until our Vikings are here, because we might have the opportunity to go test the truck some more on the drag strip. So I'm going to leave the shocks for right now. But we can go ahead, cut off all our exhaust bracketry. We're going to cut off the 3500 leaf perches that we no longer need. We got our fuel cell. We can go ahead, I'm sure I left way too much fuel in that tank too. We can go ahead, get the fuel tank removed. The tranny coolers, I think we're gonna relocate those up towards the cab, but we're also gonna cut all this out and replace it with DOM tubing, and then the fuel cell will sit back here in the crotch of the two tubes here. We do have to be pretty precise with our DOM bar here, because our shock bracket is going to go right here. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. Our fire punk shock mounts will be here Thursday. It's Tuesday, so we got a couple days. So I'm going to go ahead and start focusing on cutting out this portion here. And then we're gonna switch this out again for our roll pan style bumper and hitch. I'm gonna leave this here to keep the frame square. In my opinion, this with that should be plenty. And then on this bar here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this one and see where this front bar is going to end up at. And then I want to be able to kind of gusset this one better, because this is what the leaf springs tie off of. So I just want to make sure we're not setting ourselves up to make the frame weaker or the axle move around a little bit. right, so it's the next day. We're a little bit more prepared with supplies, a sawzall that plugs in, and more flap wheels, a mask so I don't have to read this crap. So we're gonna go ahead, keep chugging along. We got the shock mount, we have those overloads over there. We gotta finish cutting this out. So without further ado, let's get started, boys. Because of Meyer's delicate little hands, we ground everything flush, no sharp edges, pulled the shocks out. So we got to cut the two shock brackets off the axle, and then this shock bracket right here. And I think that will be the end of this segment of cutting and grinding. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this knocked out. Nothing new, a lot of sparks, a lot of safety gear. All right, so we got the shock bracket out of the way. The last thing is these two lower shocks. While I'm waiting on Meyer to bring the torch over, I'm just gonna buzz off the old airbag mounts since we're not using those anymore. So we'll get that knocked out, and then we'll start torching the lower shock mounts out so we can put our Fire Punk adjustable ones in. All right, we got all the shocks cleaned up. Everything is grinded off that we're cutting off of here. Man, that was a lot of work. A lot of work, as you guys saw in the time lapse. Holy cow. Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks to Meyer for coming over and cutting those off. And yeah, just a ton of cutting and grinding. I will weigh that stuff in the future, but we'll do a video on mounting all this stuff here, or else this would be like an hour-long video. Kind of boring, but it kind of gives you a glimpse into what it takes for weight reduction, custom shock mounts, stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a comment down below and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.